All right, Serious and Silliness Guy Talk, my special channel for comedy and silliness and beautiful women. I have with me the beautiful Delta Punk. How you doing?
What's up? What's up? Good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to be reacting to the late, great Gilbert Gottfried. And what he actually did, he did a roast some years back to George Takei, who was he was an actor on the original Star Trek. And he was the Japanese actor, but he was also gay. Mm-hmm. So he was very comfortable coming out after so much time, and he was always on Howard Stern, and they would always bust on him, and he had a great sense of humor. So when they roasted him at the Friars Club, they got Gilbert Gottfried to come in, and this video has kind of gotten viral. It's kind of been like a Gilbert Gottfried legend, if you will. And it's extremely funny. It's also very edgy. If you're a snowflake out there, or if you're a lefty, then don't watch it. Change the channel, cover your ears, get the kids out of the room, do whatever you want to do. But it's not for you. Yeah, it's not for you. Although I do know that most gay people thought Gilbert Gottfried was hilarious, but it's a different time.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see any of his stuff?
I did, actually. Yeah. Growing up, on and off out of shows and stuff that he did. Few stand-ups. I loved him.
I thought his voice
hilarious. Makes him, so that just makes it even better. But I loved him. He's great.
Yeah, I thought he was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, his voice was annoying, but for the most part, it went with him. It made him.
It went with the bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It went with the bit.
And he was so edgy, and he didn't care. He would rag on anybody. It was a fantastic. He was a fantastic comedian, and gone too soon. But why don't we just jump right in it and get started? Okay, let's see. We have to share the screen. Here we go. Okay, we could see this, right?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Delta, if you need me to stop, pause because you want to say something or comment or whatever, just let me know. I'll pause it quick, and then we'll get right into it. Okay, so this is George Takei right here, and of course this is Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh dear God, get me that Matt Lauer roast. It's what I've been waiting for my entire career. Please let me roast Matt Lauer. That's all I ask. One where I can do.
Do you remember who Matt Lauer was?
Yes.
Who was he? I don't even remember what he was.
Matt Lauer, wasn't he? Oh God, he was on was it a talk show? What was the talk show?
I'm looking up right now.
I was about to say he was on a talk show.
Matt Lauer, American TV
NBC.
Yeah,
he was on NBC.
Oh, yeah, he was the guy that got Me Too, right?
Fired.
Yeah, that's right. He was on the NBC. Right. He said they said he had like a button in his office where he would lock the door when the girls come in or some shit like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, a bunch of harassment type deal things. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so this is obviously before that.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Do a joke on your hair thinning or something. It's so much you can do about him. Sometimes I get accused of not preparing, but I did today. There'd be more faggot jokes than usual. Usually it's just old jokes, but now I got a bunch of old faggot jokes. And you know about being an old faggot. 3 fags are in a hot tub. All of a sudden, a big blob of semen floats to the top. One fag turns to the other and says, "All right, who farted?" A guy's driving in his car. He crashes into another car. He gets out of his car. A fag jumps out of the other car. He goes, "Look what you did to my car. I'll sue you for $10,000. He goes, $10,000? You can suck my dick. He says, "Well, if you want to settle it outside, of course." this one I really don't even understand that much. A fag goes to a doctor. The doctor looks up his ass. That's the first thing they look at when a fag. He looks up his ass and he finds a bouquet of flowers. And he says, I don't know where these came from. And the fag goes, why didn't you read the card? Another faggot goes to a doctor. He says, doctor, me and my boyfriend were fooling around and he shoved a pair of eyeglasses up my ass. So the doctor is looking up his ass. He goes, I can't see anything. And the fag goes, that's funny. I see you perfectly. See, what the logic to that is, I don't understand. What, if you get fucked up the ass a lot, you can see out of your ass? It doesn't really... Somehow it works like a joke, but it makes no sense. And so a girl can see out of her cunt because I'm just asking. Goes to a doctor. The doctor prescribes suppositories to him. So he goes, well, I don't know if I can see my asshole to fit them in. The doctor says, here's what you do. Put a mirror on the ground, take your pants off, stand over the mirror, and then you can see your ass perfectly. So he goes home, puts a mirror on the ground, takes his pants off, and he looks down. All of a sudden, he gets a big throbbing hard-on. He looks down at his dick. He goes, silly, it's just me. What do you call a Jewish faggot? A he-glue. You know how two faggots settle an argument? They step outside and exchange blows. What do you call a Chinese faggot? Dicky chin. How do you fit 4 faggots on a bar stool? Turn the stool upside down.
Oh, shit.
Then the legs go up their ass.
Explanational, that one.
He looks like a pole and it jumped up his ass. What do you call 5 faggots in a sleeping bag? A fruit roll-up.
I like when he has to explain the joke. I think that's hysterical.
Either when he explains it or he says he don't get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone around him, and even
is dying.
George is just dying.
Yeah, they're crying. This is great.
How do you know you're at a gay picnic? All the hot dogs taste like shit.
His face on the side.
mean, of course, that when they go to a picnic, they shove hot dogs up their ass. I don't know.
Oh, no.
This would mean at a straight picnic, it would taste like pussy if we're going by the same logic. All I know is I want to get to a picnic right away. What's the difference between a refrigerator and a faggot? A refrigerator doesn't fart when you pull your meat out.
Oh, shit.
It's a guy's first day in prison. He's crying, he's scared, and all the convict walks over to him. He goes, kid, that prison life's not so bad. Let me ask you something. You like baseball? He goes, yeah, I like it. Every Monday we have a big baseball game in the yard. And you like movies? He goes, I love them. Every Tuesday we have a big movie shown in the auditorium. And you like baseball? I love it. Every Wednesday we have a big baseball game. Okay, let me ask you one more thing. Are you a homosexual? He goes, no. He goes, ooh, you're not gonna like Thursday. Now, George is sitting there going, why wouldn't he like Thursday? What, they hold him down and fuck him in the ass? What's not to like? One guy's fucking him in the ass, the other guy's coming in his mouth. How would he not like a thing like
Jesus
that?
Christ.
A Southern sheriff is driving along. He sees a naked man tied to a tree. He goes up to him. He goes, what happened to you? He goes, well, I was driving in my car. I picked up a hitchhiker. He pulled a gun on me. He stole my car. He stole my money and clothes and left me tied to the tree. So the Southern sheriff opens his pants and goes, boy, this ain't your lucky day. And George, of course, is saying, no, it is his lucky day. He's tied to a tree, and a big Southerner's gonna fuck him in the ass. How could it not be his lucky day? You tell me what there's not to like about it. A big fat Southerner is gonna fuck you in the ass? Of course he enjoys it. It would be even better if he held a gun to his head and then shoved his dick in his ass. The only thing that would be better is if he fucks him in the ass, pulls his dick out, and then comes over his face. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost you on that.
Oh my
A
God.
woman is lying in a coma in the hospital. The nurse is watching her. She starts washing her vagina. The woman starts moaning. So she's it's even harder. The woman's moaning and biting her lip. She runs outside, tells the doctor. The doctor pulls the husband over and goes, look, I don't know if this will work, but it might help if you performed oral sex with your wife. So he climbs into bed, they pull the curtain shut. All of a sudden, they hear a bell ring, and they see it's a flat line. They go inside, and the woman's dead. And they say to the husband, what happened? And the husband says, I don't know, I think she choked. Because he had his dick.
So we didn't get that.
And now George is sitting there going, well, that's a good way to die.
I wouldn't complain.
I have to die. What better way than a big cock in my mouth? I can't imagine everyone has to die. But boy, a cock in the mouth, you can't ask for better than that.
Oh my God.
3 salesmen go to a farmhouse. They take and you put us up for the night. The farmer goes, well, I got one big bed and you can all fit in it. So they all lie side by side and then go to sleep. The next morning, the salesman on the right goes, boy, I had a great dream. I dreamt the girl was giving me a hand job. And the salesman on the left goes, that's funny, I dreamt the girl was giving me a hand job. And the salesman in the middle goes, I dreamt I was skiing.
Oh no.
They say because he was jerking them off. He was jerking them off, but there was no ass fucking in that. I thought, I was pushing it a little too far the other way, so I wanted to end it where it's just a hand job joke and no ass fucking. Thank you.
Oh my God.
He just got ripped on for 10 minutes. And they see, and that's what sucks, is because you can't even do that anymore. And that was what, maybe 15 years ago or something like that?
It's something like that. What's crazy is I loved George so much too, is because he had no problem throwing it back at anyone. Not only, taking the bullshit around it, but
Right.
he had no problem, throwing it back at people. And it wasn't a hard feeling. It wasn't a sensitiveness. It was hilarious. And he loved it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you had great comics come out of the 90s because there was no lid on the edginess. You had the Patrice O'Neill, Gilbert Gottfried came more in the 80s, but he really developed in the 90s. Yeah, Jim Norton and Bill Burr and Louis C.K. and these guys took off in the night. Even Chappelle, Chris Rock, right? And now
but it was great because you could hit on any stigma. You could hit on a gay stigma. You could hit on white people. You could hit on women. You could hit on black people. You could hit on any race you wanted to, and nobody cared because it was funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes stereotypes do kind of write themselves, and they'll be the first ones to tell you, and it's great.
And Lisa Lampanelli back in the 90s and early 2000s was hysterical. Mm-hmm. And she actually said, I only joke about the people I like.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, she told some edgy jokes, like stuff that I would even blush.
Like he kind of blushed at a little bit. Like
I was like, whoa, yeah. And it's unfortunate because I mean, there's some good comics now, but they don't seem to be. Comedy doesn't seem to be the go-to anymore. It used to be these guys would shoot to the top, and it doesn't seem to be like that anymore. It seems to be comedy is falling to the wayside. It's kind of unfortunate. During the 80s, you had a explosion of comedy, which was mostly politically correct. The 90s changed everything. But the whole era of the 90s was anti-authority, the music, the movies, the comedy. I mean, Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion. I mean, he basically told everybody to fuck themselves. I mean, it was the whole era of the 90s was did you ever watch that documentary about, I think it was the documentary about Woodstock 99.
Yes, when it was they had like Papa Roach, was that the Papa Roach one and all that? And
yeah,
it was more
exactly.
of the rock. Yeah, and it was a fucking disaster and how much money. Yeah, my husband and I actually watched that one not too long ago, and how much of a disaster it was, and the whole vibe was not even of the Woodstock age back then, and they spent so much money, and then it was awful. I wouldn't even want to see what that would even attempt to be today. There's no way in hell.
No, they would probably be boycotted. And but back then it was like, it got to the point where they were taking advantage of the young generation and they fought back. Right. There was, and they basically rioted and fought back and they were classified at the time as, a nuisance, kids that are out of control. But then when you actually see what was going on, they were charging.
Well, the vendors weren't getting paid. They didn't have any water. They were charging like $4 or $5 for a bottle of water.
Yeah, back then.
Something stupid. Yeah, back then. I mean, now I would hate to even see that kind of price. Acts didn't show up because of the prices that they were trying to charge. There was no, it was so hot too, and they weren't providing shade. They weren't. I mean, people were falling out left and right because number one, they couldn't afford food or water. There wasn't enough space, and then there wasn't enough shade, and it was absolutely miserable. And they tried to blame it on the people. And what pissed me off about that documentary so much was the people that were in charge with it acted like there was nothing. They had no idea why it was that way. They thought it was great. They thought it was paradise. But they're at the back where you've got fans with misters and hanging out with all the acts and the celebrities that's getting taken care of.
Right.
You're not down there seeing what you did to these kids. And, they try to throw it on the kids like it was all them just, looting, rioting and, whatever. But they're going days and hours without water and this god awful heat with nowhere to.
And it was a military base. It was right. It was a military base.
Yeah. It was nothing but base. Yeah.
It was nothing but concrete. And it was just that whole generation was about, not anarchy, but it was about fighting
sticking it to the man.
Yeah, fighting the genre, fighting the man. Yeah, exactly. Even the rap music back then. The rap music, the hardcore. And if you notice, I truly believe they're doing it on purpose. I don't know. I didn't mean this to be political, but the rap music is watered down. There's no mainstream rock music anymore. They've changed young people. They literally changed young people into either just, feeling unsafe or entitled, or they've changed young people into old people. Young people are supposed to go out and not give a shit. Like, now it's, you can't say this and you can't say that. And I need a safe space and so on and so forth. And
and honestly, I mean, I can't even listen to today's music. I don't care what genre you want to put in front of me.
Awful.
I
awful.
can't. And I'm someone that grew up, listening to anything from the 40s on up and of any genre. I mean, oldies, rock, metal, hip hop, rap, country, classic, jazz. I mean, you name it. That's what I grew up on.
Right.
And now I can't even stand to listen to any of it. You've got your country, which is like this pop country bullshit now, which all sounds the same. You've got your country acts that, come up on stage with their wife beaters and, flat bills backwards. And it just sounds like shit. Then you've got your rap, which there's no anything to it. It's just repetitive of the same thing. Yeah. If I do like any kind of song nowadays from the rap or hip hop culture, it's just because I like the damn beat of it. And it's something that I can listen to like at the gym or whatever. I mean, same with your metal and anything like that. It's just, and everything's depressing. I've noticed that everything now is depressing or sexualized.
Yes.
Overly sexualized. Yes. It's either depressing, I'm all about my feelings and, my mental health, and I'm not knocking mental health. Mental health is incredibly important. But everything that I have heard lately and nowadays is all about, people's mentalities and how down their mentalities are and how everyone is down and everyone's mentalities are, in the drain, and care for me and about my feelings because of my mentality. And that's how every song has been, either that or completely polar opposite to overly sexualized. Like there's no in between.
Right. You're 100% right. And movies are the same way. I'm actually going to be interviewing a movie critic on my other channel, Series of Silliness Outcasts. Okay. And we're going to be talking about why the movies have a particular agenda, why there's no creativity, why everything is the same, like Marvel or Disney or DC. Right in the neighborhood right next to me in Jersey, they're filming The Joker. I pulled out of work. I work in New York City. I pulled out of work and they were filming The Penguin. And I'm like, really? Like, how many more of these movies do you want to watch? I mean, it's the same crap over and over and over. There's no originality.
This one's the one that they're doing with Lady Gaga, isn't it? As Harley Quinn?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know who's playing Harley Quinn. I could look it up because I know Joaquin Phoenix is still playing the Joker. But I think it's Harley, or not Harley. I think it's and that's another thing. Like, why why would you pick Harley Quinn? I mean, why would you pick Lady Gaga? I mean, as acting goes, she's a good singer.
She's an incredible singer. Now, don't get me wrong. When you actually strip her down to herself instead of this whatever shit that she tries to do, for the publicity of it. She has an amazingly, incredibly strong voice. It's beautiful, but I think she gets caught up in the mainstream shit of it too. But I think it's her that is.
It says okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joker 2 reasons why Lady Gaga will be the perfect Harley Quinn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they got her as Harley Quinn. They see it all dressed up and whatnot. It's just that I think. She's not a good actress. Okay. She's a so-so actress, but she has the name and she has the draw, and it's basically we're putting her in no matter what. And I mean, that's always been the case, but there's a hell of a lot better actresses. And if you even just watch a Netflix series or an Apple TV series, that's where you see that. Yeah, I know. I almost knocked over my fucking microphone. That's where, exactly. It's fucking ridiculous. So this stupid thing was like $95, this fucking microphone. But there are people on there that really are great actors and actresses. I mean, fantastic, but they get no notoriety because the whole Hollywood thing is shot,
Well, I loved, God, and it got so much flack. What was that damn movie? The Suicide Squad. The
first one
got so much shit. Yes. But I loved, Margot Robbie. I loved her as Harley Quinn.
She's a good actress.
Suits her. She's amazing. And not to mention she's hot as shit, but it fits her. Like, that fits her personality. That fits her. She did it well. But you're right. I mean, the movies nowadays, everything is about remaking movies. We're remaking live action, all of the Disney movies, but we have to make sure we put,
their agenda in.
Their agenda in that.
Yeah.
And there's no originality.
Because you're a little bit younger than me, right?
How old are you?
I'm 47.
Yeah, I'm 30.
Okay. So,
just a little bit.
Yeah, it's still a little bit. But during the 1990s into the early 2000s, the originality of movies was fantastic. I mean, you had directors like Scorsese. I mean, he came in at the late 70s, but he blew up in the 80s and into the 90s when he had Goodfellas and Casino. And I mean, he did Shutter Island, which a lot of people don't realize, and he did The Aviator, which a lot of people don't realize. These were tremendous movies. And then you had people like Brian De Palma, and then you had Quentin Tarantino that came along and did tremendous movies, and who is the Spike Lee, who did great movies. And these movies would not be produced today. You know, they're not even taking a chance on somebody who's.
I would love to see someone try and redo Reservoir Dogs or shit. What's the brothers, the two brothers, the Irish brothers? What was that movie?
I think I know what you're talking
about. The Boondock Saints.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Or Reservoir Dogs. Like,
they would redo it with all women, and it would be crap. But Tarantino says he's making his last movie. I don't know how he's going to go about doing that. Scorsese, when he did The Irishman, the only company that would produce his movie was Netflix. There were 6 studios in Hollywood that turned him down because they knew he wasn't going to sell globally. And it is what it is.
Now you can't even watch like a Netflix original. I mean, number one, I mean, you've got going to movies in general anymore is slowly going out the window. I mean, because you started with all the COVID shit and locking everybody down. And so now you've created the stigma of nobody wants to get out of their house. So, which is a bunch of horse shit. So nobody wants to go anywhere and do anything anymore. So no one wants to go and see a movie in theaters anymore. So then you've got, everything that's coming out of your Amazon Prime originals or your Netflix originals or whatever. And don't get me wrong, there's been a couple Netflix originals that I've seen that are decent. I haven't been mad at. But mostly everything that we have watched, I've probably turned off mid-movie because of the agenda that's being pushed in it.
Yes, me too. I do the same thing.
Because I've loved the storyline. I have loved, everything and the creativity that's been up to that. Then you start pushing your agenda and I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
So
me too. I do that.
You got to walk away from it.
I do the same exact thing. I always say I need a little bit of reality in my fantasy. Mm-hmm. So the perfect example of that is the Star Wars movies, the new Star Wars movies.
Yep.
The original Star Wars movies was basically about a young boy coming into his own and becoming a man, right? It was 3 movies to become a Jedi Knight. And that's a man's story, growing up, going through adolescence, figuring himself out, and then realizing what he actually is. But in the new Star Wars that came out a few years ago, it was a girl, which is fine. But in the first movie, she's not even a Jedi, and she defeats her enemy immediately. And it's like,
where do you go from here?
And then, it's like, and then she seeks out Luke Skywalker to teach her to be a Jedi. It's like, wait, but you already beat the bad guy. What's the point? Because it didn't make any sense. And I understand that it's Star Wars and it's just fantasy, but I need a little reality in my fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he didn't in the original Star Wars. In the first one, Luke Skywalker was a student. Darth Vader kills Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was his teacher. He seeks out another teacher.
Storyline, right? Follow.
And then in the second one, they have a fight, but Darth Vader wins. Remember, he has his arm cut off. And then finally, in the third one, he finally defeats the great. Yeah. And he
saw that new one in theaters with I think Ray. Ray's her name, something like that.
I forgot. Yeah.
And it was okay.
It's garbage.
But the ending I hated. I hated the way that they left it. I hated the closure, I guess you want to say, of it.
It's just
I hated it. I didn't like it.
They destroyed the enemy. The villain, the Darth Vader in the original, he is a perfect villain. He's the perfect antagonist. In the new one, he loses the battle in the first sword battle, and he takes his mask off immediately. And it's like,
yeah, it's like, what the hell, man?
It was ridiculous.
We waited how many years for to see? We waited like 20 years for this,
right? Yeah, right.
Now you're gonna give me this in a 2-hour movie? This is horseshit.
It's just trash. It's just trash. But what I want you to do, ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's just the society that we're growing up in and living in. Is that everyone wants to feel good, and I'm all about feel good. Don't get me wrong, but it's everyone wants to feel good. Nobody wants the sad. Everyone wants the participation trophies. Everyone wants the female heroine, and I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, but
the female heroine, if it makes sense,
it better.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you portray a female heroine as the one, right, to the exception to the rule, then that makes sense to me. But if you have an army of women, it's like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, right? That's not going to happen, right? It's just ridiculous. But anyway, what I want you to do is I want you to plug your OnlyFans, which is Delta. What is it?
Delta Punk, Miss Delta Punk. I'm
Miss
the same
Delta
across
Punk.
All my social media.
Miss Delta Punk. I'm also going to make sure that is in the description so that people could see. You also did an interview with me on my other channel. It was the 34K diesel mechanic, Miss Delta Punk, because your breast size is 34K. Am I accurate?
I think I said between like a G and a K. I really don't remember what I told you.
Okay. All right. and I think it was a K because that's in the title. And then you are going bigger. Was that what you had told me last time?
So, I was my surgery was actually scheduled for today.
Oh, what happened?
Is what I was supposed to do. Well, actually, we kind of ended up getting pretty lucky. I don't know if you saw Fort Lauderdale is pretty much underwater right now.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So I was supposed to have my pre-op appointment this past week. Mm-hmm. I had already kind of talked to them about moving it out. We just had really a lot going on here. We have been going 24/7 here at the shop. Mm-hmm. I've been up since 5 o'clock. My husband and I on a road call. So, I mean, that's just how my life has been for the last 2 weeks. So
right.
We talked about pushing that out. And then yesterday or 2 days ago, they just got a shit ton of rain where most of Fort Lauderdale right now is underwater.
Really?
And yeah, they've got, I think it was like 20 plus inches of rain, and there's flooding everywhere. I mean, the main streets are the main drags, hospital, everything. I mean, they had water in the first floor. So kind of like a blessing in disguise right now. So looking to push that out towards after summer, maybe into the fall. Just kind of see where we go from there.
Okay, then how much bigger are you going to go from now?
That's the fun game. I never know. So I didn't know on my second surgery how big I was going to go. So all I know is that when I do go in, I don't want any more projection. So I don't want any more like this way. I want more, a little bit this way, a little bit more fullness, togetherness. When I don't have a bra on, they're great. When I don't have one, I just want a little more fluff in the middle. I call it a fluffing. Okay. I'm getting a fluffing.
Okay.
So I mean, it'll be a few hundred cc's, obviously. Okay. So I'm already at 1800 cc's. Best guess would over 2000. I will probably go ahead and say that.
That's like the size of my Harley Davidson.
Yeah. I know. I love when I hashtag on Instagram or anywhere 1800 cc's, and I'll have people come and be like, this isn't a motorcycle, or this isn't
exactly.
This isn't a dirt bike. And I'm like, I know, guys.
All right. So before we go, I am going to ask to do one thing. And could we have a bird's eye view or a side view of the most beautiful Delta Punk? And then we could end this whole hysterical video.
Bird's eye or a side view? If you want a side view, let's see. Hang on.
All right.
Make it. So that's the side view.
There you go.
I'm kind of working on it. I'm a belly. I just make mistakes. So side view, bird's eye.
That is, gentlemen, that is worth the money on OnlyFans, and believe me, it's not too expensive. Go spend the money and go see Miss Delta Punk, and she is beautiful. So go do that. The link is in the description. And Miss Delta Punk, thank you very much for doing this. We will be in touch, and we'll do another one.
I can't wait. It's been so much fun as always. You're wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Thanks. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.